This week, we land back in Tempe, Arizona with former Duke Blue Devil and the current head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils men's basketball team, Bobby effing Hurley.
Let's go. All right, my co-host DK, I've never known you as a runner, but you have a half marathon coming up in 7 days. Tell our listeners how you're using UCAN to prepare for that and probably finish top 10.
The top 10 bottom percent. I'm going to finish it. And UCAN's going to help me. I'm packing up a couple of things. I'm going to pack a couple pineapple gels, and I'm going to pack some bars, and definitely make sure that I can get a handoff. I'm going to try to get that Kenyon Drake handoff, on the sidelines of the bars if needed. But I'm ready, bro. Catch me in Kauai next month. UCAN City.
Anyone who's a runner or who just needs a little energy boost, go to ucan.co/1STAR. You get 20% off all products plus free shipping with the code 1STAR at checkout. ucan.co/1STAR.
Hi, this is Bobby Hurley on the One Star Recruits podcast.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. I'm DK, joined as always with my best friend of 25 years, Rip. We are a couple of one stars. We're on this journey of life, learning, loving, and getting better every day with the help of some 5-star athletes, entertainers, coaches, and celebs from around the world. Our summer 2022 One Star country tour continues. We're back in Tempe where it all began. We kind of hit Tempe about every 2 months on this cycle of podcasting. We love the Arizona State Sun Devils. Had a handful of guests now. Think about it, Rip. I'm going to get to you in a sec, though. But it's your alma mater, too, bro, which is tight. Coach Bobby Hurley, a dude that doesn't do a lot of podcasts, but the One Stars got him.
What's that saying, DK? No matter how far you go from home, you always come back to some degree, and that's what Tempe is for us, man. You found a way to work Ted's Hot Dogs into the interview with Coach Hurley. He said it's not on his diet, but that's how it is, man. Tempe is the motherland for us. It's home, and it was good to get Coach on it. It took a while, man. It was a couple years in the making, but well worth it.
Yeah, congratulations, you locked it in. Yeah, it's kind of like a little fishing pond for you, the ASU. This whole state of Arizona for us, because we love it so much, from NAU and Flagstaff where I went to school to obviously the Sun Devils. Dude, am I be honest, am I talking about Ted's Hot Dogs too much? I think I brought it up like 15 times. We should do a clip and just do a clip of me talking about Ted's Hot Dogs. I don't want to overhype it. You know what I mean?
That'd be a great Instagram reel to just you talking about Ted's for 45, 50 seconds, just mix things together. You have brought it up on probably, I'd say at least 10 episodes, 10%.
I wonder if that's poor podcasting, because I keep pulling back from that, and I should diversify my offerings. The city of Tempe has a lot to offer. I do. So honestly, I'm not, you tell me, be honest. Do I talk about it too much? Listeners, you tell us too on Twitter. Nick,
yeah, but it's because of the thing you just said. It's because Tempe has so much to offer, but all you ever talk about is Ted's. And I shocked you a couple of weeks ago. I'd never been to Ted's. I've never even been there. So that's the other thing, is you pounded it home so many times that I got to go. The next time I'm in Tempe, no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to Ted's because of all this talk from you.
Hell yeah. And you have 2 kids too, and they're perfect age to be introduced to this glorious delicacy from Buffalo, New York. One location there, one location in Tempe. Here I go talking about it again. It makes me think it was like 5 years ago now. I took Kimmy to Flagstaff on a little NAU DK tour. What were my highlights? Highlights for sure were honey mustard wings at Oregano's for me. And that's all over, but that's just one of my things when I go to Flagstaff. Crystal Creek sandwiches, grab a Crystal Club, drive down the 89A for some Sedona action down there, some Slide Rock, and eat a Crystal Creek sub.
Look at you dropping all these small businesses up and down I-17.
Well, that's my place. So let's say you take your 2 boys back to ASU, back to Tempe, and you do your little tour back there. What are the must hits? Since you obviously didn't hit the best of the best, in my opinion. I'm not saying their name again.
I mean, we talked about it last week. My favorite is Pete's Fish and Chips. I don't know if the kids would like that right now because they're not into seafood yet.
Are you 100% that still exists? It's a chain that still exists in the Valley?
Get Winston on it. Get our statistician on it. I'm almost positive. They're all over the Valley. I mean, if it closed down, that would be crazy because there were
small chance it could be a close down, man. I remember I think Long John Silver is still out there. But Pete's Fish and Chips might not be there anymore. We'll get Winston on it for the second half of the pod. But okay, onward. Pete's Fish and Chips. What else? You taking
so if Pete's is closed, Pete's is not closed down. I just verified there's a bunch of locations in the Valley. Pizza's
Okay,
still
good.
alive and well. So the other place, man, is
You put that malt vinegar on your fish?
no, I don't mess with that. I just mess with the what was it called? Seafood cocktail sauce, right?
Oh, cocktail sauce, so basic. I mean, delicious if done well, but I'm the real man. I'm a man. I do malt vinegar. I do it English style, London style, malt vinegar. If there's tartar sauce there, I'm a sucker for tartar sauce, dude. Shit, I'll do all the sauces.
But the malt vinegar like totally changes the flavor of it, right? I mean, at
Great.
least cocktail sauce and tartar seem like they kind of go with seafood. The malt vinegar, I don't know, man. I'm a
It
little
all works,
skeptical.
man. You got to diversify that palate, that paletto a little bit more, bro. It works. They've been doing it. If they've been doing it with fish and chips in England before Manchester United games for hundreds of years, it's got to work at Pete's Fish and Chips in Gilbert. You know what I mean?
Vinegar is like black licorice to me. It's like you either love it or you hate
Oh
it.
yeah, that's
I'm
true.
not a big vinegar guy, so I don't think I could do it. But you know where I would stop is right down the street from Pete's, Whataburger. DK. It's
Big
not
Texas.
out here. It's not out here in California. It's Texas. It's Arizona. It's my kids have never had it, so I would definitely introduce them to Whataburger.
No disrespect to Whataburger, I don't think it's all that.
I like it, man. It's let's see, on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, I give it a 4. It's Whataburger. So you pick In-N-Out over Whataburger? Yeah.
Yeah. I every day, and a lot of people in Texas, and you would probably battle me on that. I think it's more on the line of when you're making the decision between Jack in the Box and Whataburger. It's more of that level.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, yeah, In-N-Out is on the top, I think, and then you have all the chains like McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Burger King. Whataburger, I think, is a tier above those places.
Are we losing all of our ASU listeners? No, they know about that. The Whataburger. You know the one that I used to hit right there in Apache and what is it, McClintock? The one that used to be there?
Apache and Rural, I believe, right?
Apache and Rural. Dad, we know our knowledge right there, Rip. It's any place on campus you take the kids to. All right, you named your two: Pete's Fish and Chips and Whataburger.
So the bottom line, DK, is we have a man who you see so many former, like Bobby Hurley is the all-time leader in assists in college basketball history. We have so many athletes we see that get a little older. I think Hurley's in his 50s now. They lose it. They start getting fat. They don't look anything like they did as a player. But Coach Hurley is not eating at any of these places, I guarantee. The guy looks like he could run a marathon right now. We talk about him racing a team bus. I mean, the guy's hiking all over the valley. He's in great shape, DK. You got a marathon coming up in about a week, right? Do you think you could beat Coach Hurley in a race?
No, it's coming up on Sunday, and I'm not good at running. I just read in the instructions that if you aren't tracking a 16-minute mile, they got to let the streets go open again. So
you're gonna be that guy. You're gonna be that guy.
I ain't gonna be that guy, but I'm doing like 11 minutes. But I get tired. But a little bit nervous. But we're doing it. You know, it might be a walk run. You're
gonna do the walk run. Are you gonna stick side by side with your wife, or are you gonna go at different
I'm gonna separate from her. She's got her girl too, Rebecca, coming. I think they're gonna do their own thing. I definitely have some. I'll beat them by 30. Mark the tape. I'll beat them by 30 minutes easily.
Oh, we got to get. Is that a guarantee?
Yeah, that's a guarantee. I'll beat them by that. But I don't want to. But yeah, nervous with the 16-minute sweeper. Then they tell you they drop you off the 9-mile mark. Like the most embarrassing shuttle ride ever. I got to avoid that shit. So fired up about that. A little bit nervous. I should have asked Coach Hurley, man. A little bit nervous about race starts at 6 a.m. My normal BM doesn't happen until about 6:30 naturally. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that could be troublesome, man. You got to wake up early that day because that's the thing is, you know, they have the outhouses, like the porta potties along the route.
But I don't want to do that.
No, nobody wants that. But the thing you don't want even more is to have it happen on the run, because running naturally gets that stuff out. Like it makes you take BMs, right? So you got to do it before.
Naturally. So where it's in Kauai, it's down in Poipun, South Kauai. It's beautiful location. Early start. You're right. As I'm thinking about this now. So that's the stuff going through my head. I'm thinking I need to be up a little bit early with some dark roast coffee, you know, get it going just a little bit and then start to hydrate and try to clear myself out before the run. But, you know, I'm excited, bro. I've never done this shit before. I did 6.5 miles on Saturday through trails. Very hard, but did it. Onward. You know what I mean? So excited that we got a little bit of fitness inspiration with Coach Hurley. Excited for Sun Devil Hoops to get going. We talk a lot about a dope-ass non-conference schedule. Enjoy this interview with one of the best personalities in college basketball, Coach Bobby Hurley.
Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a husband, a father, a native of Jersey City, New Jersey, the one-time face of the ITZ In the Zone shoe line, and the current head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils men's basketball team, Bobby Hurley. Thanks for hanging out with the One Stars, Coach.
Great to be with you guys.
Thanks for coming on with us. I gotta get everyone to go to YouTube right now and type in ITZ In the Zone Bobby Hurley in the search bar. Coach, it's one of the best 1990s 30-second commercials on the internet. I apologize for resurfacing it. It's something you did when you were drafted by the Kings, but it's a classic that has to be seen, in my opinion. Do you still own any pairs of its? And what's the backstory on how that endorsement deal happened?
Well, yeah, I do. I've kept a couple, national treasure, obviously, those ITZs, but they had great apparel. I thought it was a really good concept. Unfortunately, they put a lot of marketing dollars behind me, initially in my rookie season, and with my car accident, it really impacted, the brand and what they had planned to do with it. So, but that aside, I mean, it was a dream come true. I mean, I was represented by David Falk as an agent who represented Jordan and Patrick Ewing and Allen Iverson, a number of high-profile guys, and the marketing plan was, I had my own shoe, and Foot Locker was sponsoring it. They planned to do a national commercial. So it was crazy for a kid from Jersey City that, to have the opportunity to fly out to LA and spend a week there, doing the commercial. And there were a lot of takes because I'm not that good of an actor. So I had to, put a lot of time in to get the commercial done. And a couple of my friends came out with me. And I remember the last night of the shoot, we had tickets to the MTV Music Awards in LA, and I was going to go do that. But it ended up they needed to get this final shot, and I never made it. My friends did, and they had a great time. But it was just a cool experience. I think the end product was pretty good.
You did a great job, Coach. And, actually, it's probably something to show the student athletes when they're doing their nil orientation. Maybe we can do a clip of that commercial so they can know Coach has been there, done that. But,
yeah.
You're powered by Adidas now, Coach. Down in Tempe, everybody's rocking the 3 stripes on campus. Let's talk about the outlook for the squad this year. You have a nice balance, Coach, of guys coming back, transfers, and recruits. We got some really good Arizona talent. In fact, it seems like 1/3 of the roster has gone through the Valley prep schools or public school programs. Guard, you almost feels like a distant past now. What are the expectations for Sun Devils hoops this year?
Well, I mean, we're still, working through a lot of things, and I'm spending more time doing, team-oriented stuff than I've done in the past. The transfer portal has had a great impact on our game, so there's going to be constant change year in and year out. So you have to be able to adapt to that, and I think we've done a pretty good job of bringing in some guys in the portal to, compensate for what we lost, and we got to think we have a pretty good mix, and we got guys that could, put it on the floor. We have good shooting. This is probably the longest team that I've had. We've got, really good length at multiple positions that should translate into us continuing to be a good defensive team. Last year in the defensive metrics, I think we ranked in the top 30 nationally. So I know that I've had a track record for putting out really good offensive teams here, and hopefully we could get a little bit of both this season. So like our experience, I think the program is hungry to get things back on track after, 2 years where, we've been impacted by COVID and we've had some tough injuries to deal with.
Yeah, I love it. A well-balanced team. I like that. That's kind of the lifespan of coachings when we're lucky enough to keep a guy like you long enough in a place like Arizona State is offense, defense, and at the end, it all kind of comes together here. That's what we're expecting. So we're fired up. Everybody's hungry. Speaking of hungry, I saw you out in Greece. How's the feta cheese out there? I've never been. Is it as good as people say?
Yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable experience. People were really, really friendly. Food was excellent. The islands there, just amazing. My wife and I had always been on our bucket list to go and see it. And, we've been so limited with movement with COVID the last couple of years to travel anywhere. So it was our kind of breakout travel experience. And we had solidified recruiting, and the players were at home in May. So I was able to get a little break. So it was an outstanding trip.
You don't do a lot of vacations, Coach. I don't take you as the guy who's doing a summer trip. Was this the first one? This beyond even COVID. Are you a big vacation guy, or is that kind of when you have time, you'll find the space and do it?
I think you got to have balance, and our job is high stress, and there's a lot of pressure, and you're in the gym and you're focused, but if you don't take time for yourself to really clear your mind, and I was able just to stare at the ocean a little bit and read a book and just be around my family. It was I think you got to take time to do that. In the past, since I'm out here on the West Coast, I've gone to Hawaii a couple of times in the off season. So just you got to make sure that you have that family time as well.
Yeah, I love it. You got a place. I live here in Maui, and next time you're on the west side of Maui, maybe we could get around to golf in. But I like that. It's all about balance. I think you did a great job with balance in your schedule this year, Coach. You're really good. I don't know if this is a Coach Hurley move or not, but you challenged these squads early. We got a neutral site matchup against Creighton in Vegas. Who's going to be really good, listeners, this year. We got VCU in the first round in Brooklyn, which looks like an amazing tournament. What's your personal theory, Coach, on tough early non-conference games?
Well, I think it's important to challenge yourself, and it even helps in recruiting. As we're talking to recruits, hey, we're going to play in high-profile events. Last year, we were at the Atlantis in the Bahamas in a really good holiday tournament. This year, we're in Brooklyn in a major media market, and trying to make Arizona State relevant nationally as we recruit all over the country. Our roster is very diverse. I know you touched on earlier in the show just about the local guys that have played prep in Arizona or homegrown, and we certainly want to recruit this area and recruit California and Texas. But we've gotten kids from Virginia and North Carolina and Rhode Island, and so we've had a New Jersey, where I'm from. So if we could strategically place our program in those type of events against high level opponents, I think that'll help our brand and develop what we're doing. But I like playing non-conference road games, and especially with my background coming from Buffalo as my first head coaching job and being at a mid-major, I think there's value in going on the road and playing, a mid-major, which I'm not saying SMU or San Francisco or mid-majors. They're both, kind of caught in the middle between high and mid. So, but those are good experiences. And we played Princeton a couple of years ago on the road. So try and, find those type of games as well.
I think it's great. We love it as fans. And I think it's the ultimate, I'm not even going to say warm up, but with a tournament in mind, we're mentally getting prepared early. And that makes me feel good as a fan there. Coach, you got your son, Bobby, and this is a mom listening to the podcast who doesn't know anything. Coach Hurley's son plays for the Sun Devils as well. He's a sophomore going in this year, number 11. I think he's getting some nil stuff done. Is that right, too?
Yeah, I think he has. Yeah, I think he's got a bike deal, and he did something else locally. So yeah, everyone's trying to take advantage of NIL. That's for sure.
Everybody's trying. It's a wild, wild west thing, but I'm happy to see people getting involved. You mentioned your vacation. Looking from that lens, Coach, and kind of your dad coached you too. How important are these years of being able to spend all these hours with your son before he makes you an empty nester, I guess, coming up pretty soon?
Yeah, it's great having him here, and it's like having another coach on the staff and just someone that I'm totally comfortable, talking to. And I can't tell you how many games we've watched together over his 19 years. So, and he's a hardworking kid. He's got a good heart. So he's this really strong addition, to our program. And he's part-time psychiatrist with me too, when things aren't going great. And especially on the road, I think it's a part of our routine that we would go to dinner the night before the game if we're on the road somewhere. So after we're done with our film sessions and our meetings and everything. So it's terrific. You can't replace this time. And pretty soon he's going to be on his own in the real world, but I'm going to take full advantage of it while I can.
Amazing. Love it, Coach.
You might have to have him on the staff there too, so hopefully you get to extend that time with him. But Coach, we end every interview with the segment we call 1 star to 5 star. We're 1 stars. We're trying to get better with advice and tips from every guest we have on this podcast, like yourself. So I want to ask you a few questions that run the gamut on a 1 to 5 star scale. Let's say 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest.
Okay.
So we love nicknames on this show. We have DK and Rip, but it's not often you come across a 5-star one. My top 5 are probably, let's say, Air Jordan, Refrigerator Perry, Big unit Randy Johnson is one of the best. And then I love the answer for Allen Iverson. Number 5, though, it's Bobby fucking Hurley. It isn't even a real nickname as much as it is just awesome. And it's what we have for you, Coach. Have you embraced the Bobby effing Hurley, and will we see a product line at some point? The endorsement opportunities are unreal.
I'm going to leave that up to John Rothstein to sort all that out. I think it fits, just my demeanor when I'm coaching. I think that the attitude that I coach with, the passion, I'm very emotionally charged, and I think my players respond to that. And it's not contrived. It's just me being reactionary and who I am. And but I'm very laid back and very chill. But then I guess, when you flip that switch and you're in competition, I could go to the Bobby effing Hurley if I have to.
It's like flipping a switch, like Clark Kent goes in the phone booth. Let's talk about that for a second, because you've had some of the, like you mentioned, let's call them 1-star moments, getting in it with the refs and getting technicals during your tenure at ASU. But I feel like I've seen a change over the past couple of years. I mean, you used to go completely nuts, but if we're lucky now, you might not even sweat through your shirt during a game. I feel like we've seen a milder Bobby Hurley more recently. Was there let's call it a 1-star, like bottoming out moment for you where you knew you had to make a change in that area?
I wouldn't say there's like a specific thing, but it's something I've been trying to work on. And I think with Arizona State, when I first took over, I felt like I had to fight for the team, and that meant almost fighting with everyone. Sometimes the players, sometimes the officials, and to kind of make the climb that you need to make, because I'm trying to compete with some heavy hitters in our league. We talk about the tradition of, UCLA and Arizona and Oregon and those type of schools. That's who, we're trying to compete with. And so I think that was a part of that. But over time, I've tried to focus more on the players. And I think I've built better relationships with the officials. There are guys now, being an East Coast guy, like I didn't really know many of the West Coast officials when I got out here. So just trying to go about it a little differently. I'll still have my moments. I'm not going to change entirely, but I only had 1 technical last year, so I'm certainly making some progress.
You haven't flipped that switch as much, but yeah, I love seeing it. Coach, speaking of that passion that you bring to the game, this is the 1-star recruits where facts are suspect and at best, and stories become legend because of it. I heard a 5-star story about you racing the Arizona State team bus back to the hotel. You were running alongside it, I think from a game at UCLA, I believe. On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, can you grade the accuracy of that story as I just told it, and just please elaborate it? Did that ever actually happen?
It did. Well, this was during COVID. Again, there were unique procedures involved, to get these games played. And one of them was at USC. And the day of the game, we had a time slot at 8 a.m. to start lining up so we could get our daily COVID tests to get approval to play in the game. So everyone had to get tested. So the process was taking a very long time, and it was going to start creeping into whether I'd be able to have my workout during that day. So I had my running shoes on, and I completed my COVID test, and a number of the players still were waiting to get their tests. So I said, I still have to watch film. We have a shoot around. I started going through the checklist of things you got to do on a day of a game. When am I going to get my workout in? So I was like, all right, I'm just going to run back to the hotel. So I just kind of took off, and I almost beat the bus there. I mean, and it was close. They got by me in the last probably quarter of a mile, but some of the guys were waving at me as they were driving by.
Man, what a story. Venezia's Pizza, last one here. Venezia's Pizza is a proud ASU partner, and also, believe it or not, a proud sponsor of the 1-star recruits. We had a one-time ASU commit Marcus Howard on a couple years ago, and he loves that spot. 5-star pizza in the Valley. You've been in Arizona for almost a decade now. What's the personal Bobby Hurley 5-star eating spot for the Hurley family on a weekend night in the off season when you're just catching up on family time? Where do you like to go?
Yeah, that's always a tough one for me. It kind of fluctuates a lot. We get involved with one place, and then maybe you see the same kind of menu, so you kind of go in a different direction. But I think the one consistent has been DeFalco's for me. I'm an East Coast guy. I love Italian food. I always try and hunt in an Italian deli that's and I think they're 5-star. I mean, they have just great mozzarella and sandwiches and hot food. And I always, like, right before the holidays when I have family coming in, I make sure I make a run through and really load up.
Yeah, bring some of that ravioli home for the holidays is always a win. I like this. And listeners, you're probably getting sick of me saying this. My spot in Tempe is Ted's Hot Dogs, and that chili dog is the best. Chili dog and onion rings. Have you been, Coach, Ted's?
I haven't been to Ted's, and the dog doesn't really fit my diet, but maybe I'll give it a shot. I'll have to, do a double workout on the Peloton.
Double workout, maybe next offseason. It's a great place right there on Broadway. Mad love, Coach, to the ASU basketball program, legendary media relations guru, Doug. You can follow ASU basketball news at Sun Devils Hoops, at Bobby Hurley 11 on Twitter. Coach, thank you so much for coming on the One Star Recruits. Best of luck this season. Listeners, you can get your tickets. Season tickets are available. Coach, you play my NAU Lumberjacks, my alma mater, on November 10th. You ready to match up with Bukar? He's got some guys. Yeah, no, he's a really good coach, long time high school guy here, certainly very well respected in the coaching circles. And, I'm sure they're going to present a huge challenge. I'm sure that every one of those local guys would have loved to put on an ASU jersey. So I'm always mindful of those kids that might have been overlooked by some of the higher level conferences. There's some NAU love there from Coach Hurley. I love it. Well, let's bring that natty back to Tempe, Coach. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Coach Hurley in the house. Like I said, he doesn't do a lot of podcasts. He'll do some local interview. He'll do his normal press routine, but he is, like JJ Redick says, Rip, a basketball psychopath. I got to bring up Greece for a quick second. You see how fast he pivoted me away from Greece and back into hoops? The man
Yeah, I have confirmation that I think it's his first vacation in like 5 years with his family. Like, just he's a worker. He's we talked about him actually before we hit record. We were talking about the Hurley drill, something called the Hurley drill, because my nephew Trevor Thompson played for him for a couple years at ASU as a walk-on, and man, the Hurley drill, DK, sounds like one of those things where you're just like puking at the end, and he really puts you through the ringer, puts his guys through the ringer, but to attest to him and his fitness, he does it with them. He does it by himself sometimes. So psychopath, like you said. But the new thing. That's the new thing. Like in Hard Knocks, the Lions coach doing the up downs in Hard Knocks. That's the new thing for coaches. You gotta be able to do the drills, Belichick. You think Buddy Ryan or Rex Ryan are doing any of those things? No, man. This is the new coach. Changed, bro. What year did you graduate? 2004? 2000, class of Y2K. And class of Y2K. I don't even know who was there. Who was there? Jason Braxton? Who was on the basketball team in 2000? Oh, man. That's a good question. Was it Diago days? Yeah, Steven Smith a little bit before that. Mario Bennett was like 96. So, yeah, I don't remember the exact years. But all those guys, man, all those guys growing up. But it's been a lot different now, man. We got guys going to the league almost every year out of ASU. The league or high tier international program. So it's Hurley's doing something right, to an extent. There you go, Rip. You know anything about ASU football? To be honest with you, I don't really know really shit, except for, this is complete honesty. We have ASU football soon, bro, is going to probably do some whoop ass on my Northern Arizona Lumberjacks. It's tomorrow. It's Thursday night, DK. Get ready for that 63-7 beatdown. That's what you're calling right now? No, it'll probably be like 41-10 or something like that. I mean, I think the goal for ASU football, I read somewhere, is like, win by a comfortable margin, but also not have to expose your entire playbook for like the real opponents, like in the coming weeks. Yeah, bro, they beat. Don't take them lightly. They beat U of A last year, and ASU. To be honest, I think football team wise has a shitload of brand new players this year, like more than 40 new players who are going to be. Shout out to Javen Jacobs. One of the new ones, yeah. So a lot of talent advantages for the Sun Devils, obviously, but probably going to be a blowout. Anyway, I hope that's on TV. It's probably not going to be on TV. Probably going to have to catch that one online. But I mean, everyone that watches ASU football knows, DK, that you don't even really have to watch. You just look up in December. They're either going to be 7-5 or 8-4, like always, possibly 6-6 this year, and go to like the Alamo Bowl or the Las Vegas Bowl. So that's it, man. You don't waste your time. I mean, until they show they can do something better than that. That's my theory on ASU football. Holy shit. I just navigated this great ASU podcast to completely talking about Flagstaff, Ted's Hot Dogs, and NAU. That's what I'm bringing today. That's what I'm bringing today, man. But
it really was great to get Bobby Hurley. You know, I love getting the fiery coaches, you know, because we try our best in this and interviewing. It's something that we take pride in and kind of removing one of those masks and trying to get to some other layers of the human beings. We got there with Coach Hurley, but I really like the guys who bring us right back constantly to fitness, hoops, focus, tournament winning. It's why they're the best of the best. All right, so there's ASU. We've been all over the state of Arizona. Let's go right to Rex of the Week, Rip. I've given Rex all over this podcast, probably like 25 now that I'm thinking back in my head.
Ted's Hot Dogs, is that your Rex of the Week?
You need to cut me back off when I start going crazy on, you know, I was here to talk about Tempe, and I just moved this thing around so much, Rip, but I still think it was quality. Let's do a Rex of the Week. I'm going to go crazy again. Listeners, at the end of every episode, we do our recommendations of the week. It's anything in the world that made us feel good, put a smile on our face. We thought, hey, I should share this with the world. It's that simple. I'll go first because it's a bit of a crazy one, Rip. How do I say this? Okay. Growing up, a couple of my friends' houses I would go chill at would have refrigerators in their garages. Might be an Arizona thing, Rip. Do you have a fridge in your garage?
We actually do. We have one in our garage. We're converting our garage. We're putting some lighting up and a TV so we can watch NFL Ticket in there. So, yeah, we have the fridge in there. It's stocked, but.
So you got the Arizona blood. It might be an Arizona thing. I don't know. Listeners, if you're all over the country, if that's a normal thing. We didn't at my house growing up. So it was always like it would open up like the whole world, like a treasure chest of opening. When I open it, it'd be filled with soda and water and juice and all this stuff. Anyway, I got away from sugary soda about 15 years ago. Probably I stopped. I'll do an occasional Diet Coke when I'm out at a restaurant. I love Diet Coke. Don't get me wrong. Love a good Diet Coke. But the sugar stuff, not as much. Anyway, Rec of the Week. I've been buying when I go grocery shopping, you know, once a week, one single glass bottle soda, Rip. A little bit more expensive, comes in the glass bottle. I've done Cactus Coolers. I've done root beers. Obviously, the Mexican Coke and the Mexican Sprites. So delicious. Look, bro, it's just a very special treat for me. And I just get one, and I'll put that on ice. You pop it open, put it on some ice for me. Takes me back. It's the small things in life, Rip. So a bottled sugar soda. Treat yourself on the beach for me with ice. Come on, bro. Am I right?
I like how you had that whole story about the fridges in the garage, and that's like you could tell that your mind went back to those days at your friend's house, and you're probably grabbing like a Cactus Cooler or Mexican Coke out of there, right? And it was my 40s.
It was my homie's Bose. He had flavors I never even knew about. He had all the flavors that would come through, so it was always like such a treat. So I think that's why I like it. It is my rec. So I guess my bigger rec is do something that made you feel good growing up as an adult, and probably will make you feel good still, I guess, is my rec of as I think that through a little bit more.
Way to tie that together, man. How much with inflation now, how much is a bottle of Cactus Cooler or Mexican Coke out on the island of Maui?
Good question. $2.49.
Oh, that's not bad. I was actually thinking like $3.99, $4.99. That's a deal. That's a bargain.
$2.49 island grocery, man. It's $2.49.
I love it. I'm trying to keep these recs close to home and tie them in with the episode a little bit. I mean, yours works in Arizona. It's about 110 out right now, so that would be good to grab a beverage out of the garage fridge. But Coach Hurley, I know this is one of his favorite trails to hike in North Scottsdale, and I had the pleasure of hiking the Gateway Trailhead Loop in the McDowell Sonoran Preserve a few years ago during Christmas. DK, anyone in AZ who hasn't done this trail, amazing scenery out in North Scottsdale. Probably not a good time to do it now, but in another month or so when it cools down, the Gateway Trailhead Loop in the McDowell Sonoran Preserve. You might see Coach Hurley out on the trail. I know he probably wakes up at like 5 a.m. and runs that thing. So have you ever done that one, DK?
Never. My memory only goes to doing little Papago Park walkthrough up to that hole in the rock. You know what I mean?
That's not even a hey. You never did like Camelback or South Mountain? You're going Papago?
I like looking at Camelback. I don't know.
You sound like a 40-year-old man who hasn't lived in Arizona in 20 years is what you sound like.
Yeah, I mean, the place, catch me on the 60 at the Denny's getting mozzarella sticks and moons over my hammy, if we want to take my Arizona days. But is it beautiful? It's a great, you're right, bro. If it's not hot out, the hiking is amazing. I go back to Tucson where my mom lives and always know my mind is blown by the beauty that the state of Arizona produces. And the beauty that you produce, Rip, and booking these badass guests for us, man. So thank you, homie.
We got some more heaters coming in the next few weeks, DK. We're booked through September, so we're getting ahead of things, and bringing you fire every week on One Star Recruits.
Yeah, man. Hopefully I survive. I'm being Kauai this weekend, running my half marathon. So I'll let y'all know how this goes. 5 stars, 5 stars on Apple, 5 stars on Spotify is a great way to say thank you. Hit us up on social media if you have any more. The best thing that we've been doing lately, and if you listen to any prior pods, and it helps us get motivated too, throw us guests that you'd like to see on the show, us interview, or even if you'd like to be a part of it, throw them over to us. If it's someone you looked up to growing up or somebody on your favorite team, we'll do our best to get them on the show.
Yeah, hit us up on our website. Hit us up through social. Hit DK up through social. His birthday's next week. What is it, 41 or 42, DK?
Yeah, 41, man. Glenn Rice. So
Glenn Rice birthday. Hit DK up. Happy birthday, DK. We'll see you next week.
Onward. Peace.
DK, something we're starting to do at the end of every episode is cut back to a clip that might be relevant to this episode. And Coach Hurley coached a Phoenix native, Zylan Cheatham, who's now on Team USA. Actually, he's playing for the FIBA World Cup and qualifying right now on Team USA. A G League guy who's gotten a couple call-ups in the NBA. Let's bounce to this clip about Zylan Cheatham, former ASU Sun Devil, talking about wearing his own jersey out in public. What about that, man? Wearing your own jersey, because nobody else does it, and I love everything about it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like so often we get caught up in everybody else supporting us and jersey sales and, hoping that this person supports you or this person wears it. And, I mean, it's kind of frowned upon in some weird way to wear your own jersey, I guess. But me personally, I'm like, man, hey, I earned it. I deserved it. It brings back memories of some of the stuff I did in that jersey. And I mean, it's fashionable. So why not?
Dope. Actually, Rip, it did stand out to me. My grandfather once gave me some advice because I was a youngster running around with all my logo stuff. And he's like, man, if you're going to wear a logo, wear your own logo. He used to put his initials on his shirts. So now for today, I know it's a podcast. Y'all can't see this, Z, but I got my DK on my hat. I'm taking the advice, man. Why rep another man when you can rep yourself? You know what I mean?
Hey, man, see, build your brand.